Ever since leaving the black and white era of classic Doctor Who, whenever I start a new season, I find myself wondering, why hasn't this one had a Blu-ray collection release yet? I know it's normally random which one gets chosen, but this serial here, well, let's just say I think I found the reason we haven't seen a Season 13 collection box set yet. Yeah, one of my viewers asked if I could share how much they personally hate this one. No. Instead, I'm going to tell you how much I personally hate this one. This is Planet of Evil. Okay, hate is a strong word, but when you guys started up a conversation about Planet of Evil in the comments section of my Revenge of the Cybermen review, I had no idea that this was going to be such a divisive bunch of episodes, and I certainly didn't think I'd find myself on the more negative side of things. But here we are. Alright, you know the drill by now. A 4-part serial from 1975. Hey, look, this one started airing on the 27th of September. It's relevant because today's the 29th of September. Hooray. From the opening moments revealing a super colourful indoor studio set, I knew we were in for some peak cheese. My initial reaction was, wow, look at this super detailed, brilliant set. But as the episodes went along, I found my opinion changing to sheer indifference. It's almost too busy, you know? Like, the set designers could have reeled back a bit. Like, do you really need all the things clambering up the frame? Although, I swear one of them was only used for, like, 2 whole camera shots. So all that effort was wasted. In fact, I feel like overall the set was wasted when we spend less than half of the total runtime on the planet itself. Straight away, we're off to a rough start when characters start disappearing to an invisible threat seemingly at random. And I don't think the actors were on the same page when it came to how to act in these death scenes. Like, some of them would just go, but others would go, like, full-on melodrama, like, Like, relax, buddy, you're not winning any daytime Emmys. The story! The story is nonsense. The sole survivor of an expedition sends out a distress call, which is picked up by both the TARDIS and another rescue vessel. They refer to this as the last planet in the known universe. What the heck does that even mean? Like, what, were you just mapping out a big section of space and you got to this planet and you were like, yep, that's far enough? And it's so boring. I tried watching this shortly after Terror of the Zygons, but I just couldn't pay attention, so I switched it off and watched some of the Bad Batch instead. Then days later, I gave it another go, and I didn't even realise I made it over halfway through the first episode, and I had just forgotten all of it. Something about mining the planet for antimatter, I think. Even after watching it the second time, I still must have missed the explanation, because as soon as they get off the planet, they all start ranting and raving about antimatter this, antimatter that. Okay, so what actually happened to those people that were vanishing earlier? Well, they were essentially freeze-dried, according to the Doctor. Sucked of all moisture, and yes, I say sucked and not drained because, well, we'll get onto that later. Hang on, are these freeze-dried? I don't know, but they taste good. So this semi-invisible thing that looks a little bit like Black Doom from Shadow the Hedgehog is the thing that's doing all the killing. Apparently, it's pure energy in a physical form. A neat enough idea if used in a better story. It takes until halfway through episode 3 for things to really get going. Up until that point, it's just really, really dull. Nothing for a first-time viewer to grab onto. Oh, and there's this really ethereal scene where the Doctor goes into another dimension to communicate with this energy creature. Something antimatter cannot leave the planet, blah. I don't know, maybe it'll make sense on a revisit. Actually, no, none of this makes sense. But it's classic Doctor Who, so it's allowed to not make sense most of the time. The final survivor of the initial group of researchers that was on the planet before the rescuers arrived also gets turned into an antimatter monster of sorts. So we get to hear him literally sucking the moisture sounds wrong to say, so I'll just say sucking the energy out of someone, just straight up, just...
I drink your milkshake. I drink it up!
Sarah!
Just slurping it right up. They stop him, of course. No thanks to this really annoying character who's like one of the leaders of the rescue team that for some reason just blames the Doctor and Sarah Jane for all the deaths despite having no evidence whatsoever. It's just, we need conflict somehow, so you killed them. Man, everything about this one is just so weak. From the weapon sound effects to the dressing gown-like costumes of the rescuers. Heck, even a one-chop kill can't save it, and that's normally my favourite cliche. That's about it. I've only got 2 notes for this one. Firstly, the Doctor gets knocked out like 2 or 3 times in this serial. Like, come on, writers, think of something more original. And the second is a kind of funny line of dialogue from the Doctor and Sarah. Shakespeare, terrible actor. Or perhaps that's why he took up writing. That's it. One little humorous line taken out of context and a bit of banter is all I genuinely liked about this serial. I have a feeling this is going to be one of those stories that people have discovered a newfound fondness for. Maybe it's not so bad if you give it a chance. Yeah, well, that's all well and good, but it did nothing for me. I was bored. I'll tell you what, though, I had a real good nap afterwards. That's why I make sure to take notes while watching these, otherwise I would almost completely forget most of what I see in these old Doctor Who serials. It's kind of sad, really. I remember almost all of the classic early era. I don't know why, maybe it was just so new and exciting to me, but thinking back to like seasons 1 to 4, and even most of Troughton, like, I can remember the story and the characters, but I don't know, lately, if you were to ask me what happened in, say, the Axons, I would struggle to remember anything aside from just moments. And what moment will I remember from this one? Probably just the Shadow the Hedgehog antimatter monster. Well, this one was a dud. Better luck next week, I suppose. And hey, it's not like the next one's gonna be a serial I'm on record for saying I actively dislike. Oh, great! It's Pyramids of Mars. I'm gonna peeve a lot of people off. Thanks for watching.